Hello everybody, Keith here again. In this video we're going to repot my second Paph, the second one I bought. I think we're going back to about 2017, so I've had this quite a long time. And it's a reliable grower and flowerer. But it's been in this mix for 2 years and that's too long. This is it's one of the very few plants that I now use Westland Orchid mix for. It tends to say too wet for most plants, but this one I was told right from the word go by Lawrence Hobbs, who I bought it from, keep its feet wet. So this is one that does like to be on the damp side, and it's by and large it's done well, but now it's not doing as well. So I'm going to have another go. So this one is Paphiopedilum maudiae and the variety is Femma. Very easy plant to grow by and large. But what we're going to find in here, I rather thought that might be it, that we've got some fairly dodgy roots under the plant. It's been in there too long. It's as simple as that. Most of these roots aren't doing too badly. They're firm. We've got some tips and branches, so that's a good start. What isn't such a good start is we seem to have quite an infestation of mealies, so that's going to have something done with it while I'm here. I have struggled with mealybugs on my orchids now for a very long time. It really has been a very long time. Now this one, they're not so obvious because they don't go for the leaves. I think the leaves are just too thick. So anyway, I'm spraying this with SB Plant Invigorator, which is a soap-based treatment that damages the cuticle, which protects them, and allows the water to get to them. So we've got, I think, 3 new growths showing at the moment. There's something on this thing, but there's no roots to it. It's fell off. As you can see, this is the last vestiges of a new growth. That one bit was really badly affected by, I mean, you can see there, look at the mealies on that, and there's been not very much I've been able to do about that at any point. And that, which is typical of this particular compost, is soaking wet. So as usual with this stuff, it stays wet far too long. So I am going to try an experiment. I'm going to use a mixture of Westland and plain bark. Try the trouble with SB Plant Invigorator is it isn't systemic, it's a contact killer. It's got to hit them. And as always with insect pests, you are not, under any circumstances, going to get all of them at the same time. Don't really want to use that pot again in case these things are kicking around in the bottom. It wants a good clean So I think that'll be good. It's a similar size to that one. With that piece coming off, I think it's going to go in there fairly well. Oh dear, that's not very good. That needs trimming back to there. Because that bit was actually squelching. So even for this, the compost was too wet. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. We have got some quite good roots. We have got some live roots, which is obviously a good start. We've got new growth, which is also clearly very helpful. So, as always, let's try mixing some ordinary bark, ordinary plain bark, and some of the stuff. Now you'll see pretty much straight away the problem with this. The bark is incredibly fine. What with that and the looking spider in there, that and all the ceramics that's in there, it holds water like an absolute sponge. When I first started to use it, it was really quite good. The bark was bigger, it was more consistent, didn't have chunks of wood in it like that. So I want to try and get some kind of a compromise going here. So we've got some slightly bigger bark, we've got the ceramics, so I'm rather hoping I've got the best of both worlds here. I'll pull some of the pieces of ceramics out of the old mix, the bigger bits. That might help, because I'd like some water retention. I don't want anything staying absolutely solid. That's not what I want at all. I suspect that's not going to be enough, but let's see how we get on, because this is going to be all kinds of fun, I think, to try and get that to sit nicely in the pot. Because we haven't got that much root to play with. So it's going to be the usual thing, where you've got more space than you want on either side of the pot. And that's another reason why I want to try and make it slightly more free draining than it was. Because if it doesn't drain fairly well, we're back in the same boat, aren't we? So that's all going in there fairly well. But yeah, we're going to want something like that. No problemo. A good handful of bark and a kind of half handful of that stuff. Ceramics is supposed to be very good. I'm just not sure. I've never put it into bark as such deliberately. I've only ever used it when I bought it with this Westland Orchid mix. And in my experience, unless you've got something that is either close to a bog plant, which some of the paths are, because a lot of these are, well, they're not terrestrial technically, but they grow a lot nearer the ground in many cases. than many orchids. They're still epiphytes, but they, instead of being high up in the canopy, as I understand it, I'm probably talking out the back of my neck as usual, but as I understand it, paphs tend to inhabit terrain down sort of nearer the roots of trees rather than the bark of trees. So, you know, if you've got a mossy carpet on the floor, that's where you're going to find these things. So they will tolerate more moisture than many. And if this works, I've got some others that I'll probably give it a whirl. But yeah, I don't want to use just the plain Westland, because it doesn't drain, it stays wet. And the trouble is, I'd also got it into an opaque pot, so you couldn't see what was happening. So, a very quick repot of Paphiopedilum maudiae. I hope you found that interesting. As I say, I'm trying something slightly different. I have grown it in bark. It seems to do better in something that's more moisture retentive. Unsurprisingly, what I used to do when it was in bark was have water in the saucer, but with the Westland stuff there's never been a real need for that. It just doesn't dry, but it obviously hasn't been drying out, so that's another issue. So right, so having killed another couple of mealies I've just noticed, I've come over. But it's looking a little bit better now than it was. So there we are. That's Paphiopedilum maudiae. So one of the oldest orchids I've got. It's a bit of an old faithful, and as such it does tend to be neglected a bit, which is a great shame, because it's a lovely plant. Right, thank you for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.